A few weeks ago, my buddies from Words of Feral, a really cool German melodic death metal band, they called me and asked, "Hey dude, our guitar player got sick. Can you fill in? Can you jump in? We need someone who plays the upcoming festival shows." I'm a fan of challenges, and this challenge was to learn 14 songs in only 2 weeks. And how I got from this to this I will tell you with the 5 principles that I always do when learning songs. Okay, and first of all, tip number 1 is get prepared. Communicate as much as possible with the band that you have to learn songs for. And first, I often ask for as much material as possible. I'm talking about live recordings. I'm talking about isolated tracks from, I don't know, certain recording session. Videos maybe where somebody's playing certain parts. Rehearsal room recordings. And most important, tabs. The more I have, the easier it is for me to learn songs. Of course, I can transcribe songs, but transcribing can cost a lot of time. We will come to the listening part later as well. And it's easier for me to understand that music and get everything prepared for tip number 2 that I'm going to speak in a few seconds with. Ask the band, okay, from your set list, what songs are the most trickiest songs? Which songs always made certain amount of problems? Where do we have some rhythmical kind of things that I have to be aware of? Where do we have key changes? Where do we have melodic ideas that are really important to stand out? Feelings, groove, all these kind of little details. It shows that you're interested to give as much as possible respect for the music and for the artist. And after you've gained all the information that you required, you can move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is make a strategy. So what I did, I took one afternoon, went through all the songs, all the tabs, just looking, maybe playing off the chart, by reading it, and then realizing for every song, which kind of sections are easy, which kind of sections don't require any practice time, which kind of sections need a little bit more practice, and what kind of sections do I have to really dig deep into it, with my whole practice routine that I already discussed here in my YouTube channel, like starting slow, playing something up to tempo, then the 7 of 9 method, the marathon man method, all these kind of different practice methods that everybody who's following my channel for a longer time now definitely know about. And do these things first. Communicate maybe with the band what kind of changes you can do or you're allowed to do. Certain fingerings that can be different, certain melodies that can be a little bit more adjusted to your kind of style. Or for example, I switched out a whole solo. There's one song with a whole long, 40-second solo in it, and I had to be honest and had to say, okay, I cannot learn that solo note for note with a lot of legato passages and interesting sweep arpeggios and all this kind of stuff. I love this solo. I would love to learn it. But for this, there's just not enough time. So I said to the band, hey, I'm going to play an own solo, an own improvised solo, and I'm more focused on rhythmic, on being tight, being together as a band, and other melodic or Unisian kind of ideas that are important for the music. Because some of the sections are hard. We have some really interesting tapping Unisians together with the keyboard player, some really interesting sweep arpeggios. And the most difficult part in this kind of music is all the rhythmical complexity, all the rhythmical kind of nuances that we have in this music. Or to put it a little bit more simple, in one song we have dum da dum 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 da dum as a rhythm, and the next song we have da da dum 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 da dum. Alright, but after you've made a strategy, after you've learned, okay, in that song the verse is pretty easy, the chorus is easy, but the bridge is hard. In that song I have a hard solo, but the rest of the song is easy. You know how to structure your next steps and your next practice routines. Step 3 is listen to the music as much as possible. Every time when I was in a gym, I was listening to the music. When I was in the car, I was listening to the music. When I was walking with my cats through my apartment, I was listening to the music. But not only listening to the music, trying to understand the music, trying to sum along, try to hum along with the music, try to understand the rhythms, try to turn off the music and try to continue, for example, a certain song. Maybe this sounds a little bit weird for somebody who is not familiar with metal music, but metal music can be really rich with details. So I highly recommend to trying to listen and to get an awareness of these details. Now, step number 4 is practice with a click, but a really special way to practice with a click. What I like to do is, after I've started to learn the songs and then I can play a song from beginning to end, I like to put that song in my DAW, in this case it's Reaper, put the settings to it, like the correct BPM and everything, and then I mute the song and I just play with the click. And after I've played through the song from the start to the beginning, I check, okay, is every part where it should be? Or maybe I skipped a few bars here from that chorus or that bridge, or I totally forgot to play that bridge, or I totally forgot that the outro has 2 bars more. All those kind of stuff when you realize when you're playing without the music. This is something where I definitely know, okay, I know the songs from start to beginning and I don't have any problem thinking on stage like, oh, does now comes the bridge? Does now the chorus ends? Oh no, there's 1 bar left. Oh, what comes next? Oh, I totally forgot how the chord progression was. This kind of stuff you will realize when you practice it with that way. So again, take the audio file from your music, put it in your DAW, mute it, only turn on the click, play to the click, and then check later, okay, did you miss anything? Did you forget anything? And then you know where you need to work on next. And as well, when you have access to isolated recording files, like only the drums, or only the bass guitar, only the vocalist, try to practice alongside these as well. It helps a lot for the live situation when you have bad monitoring or even bad in-ear monitoring. That can happen. It happens to everybody. That you not get lost. That you are able to play along with the music even if you only hear the click, even if you only hear the drums, only the vocals. And that you're not so much dependent on the different musicians, that you know you are independent and you can play these songs totally on your own. And tip number 5, which is the most important tip for me when it comes to learning songs, is my routine before I go to bed and my routine when I wake up. Before I go to bed, I play everything that I worked on over the day. Certain riffs, certain licks, maybe full songs, maybe the whole set list already. Then I go to bed. And now comes the interesting part. I lay down, close my eyes, and then I try to imagine how I play these sections in my head. And when it's hard for me to imagine like a certain fingering, like was that riff like this or like that, I can't remember how my fingers should look like when playing these riffs. And this helps me a lot to not only get really deep into certain parts and sections, but also to realize, oh shit, that section, I'm not safe here. If I'm not able to imagine this in my head, I better should check on this section tomorrow. And then this is the first thing that I'm going to do in the next day. I wake up, I grab the guitar and I go through that section and try to get it into my head, and I do the same thing the next evening. The learning factor with this kind of method is immense. And with that method you can memorize certain things extremely fast, extremely quick. So yeah, after 2 weeks I had the first rehearsal. We had to check and change certain things, certain rhythms, but everything was cool. Only 2 rehearsals, and then it went up the stage, partying with all the people. The pyro flames was a really cool thing, and it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to play the next show with them this weekend in Norway. And I can't wait to make my next YouTube video for you, because you guys are awesome. And I hope you like this little video on my perspective, how I learn songs, my 5 tips, how I learn songs extremely quickly. Feel free to subscribe, feel free to leave a like and a comment. Check out my Patreon to support me. Link is in the bio. And I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Cheers so far and power your progress.